So it's 2026, print on demand has been around for a while, and it may feel to some of you like all of the high demand niches that are getting a lot of sales are too competitive, and if you're niching down too much, then there's just no demand and you're struggling to get sales. Now, whilst this might seem true on the surface, I think there is a lot of potential in the high demand niches if you target them properly. I think the problem is that most people just don't approach these kind of niches the right way. And this is actually a question that came up in a recent Print on Demand Council live stream, and we had a lot of input from everyone who was there, and also gave a ton of ideas and proper examples of how to target the big competitive niches properly to still get a lot of sales, even though it is 2026 and even though some of them are quite competitive.
How do you find niches to sell in? It feels like anything with demand is too competitive, and anything niche down doesn't have enough demand.
You're trying to find that sweet spot. I don't mind competition too much. Like, it can't be totally blown, but if you have something that can compete with what's already out there, I think that's still okay. So for me, competition means that there's interest in it at least. So that's better than the other alternative where there's no demand at all. Yeah, definitely. Tools help. Adam's really good at it. So having him going to your school community and looking what he suggests is really nice too. But there's definitely tools out there too.
I wouldn't be scared of high demand, high competition niches either, unless if you like very, very limited for slots. If you're an Amazon merch and you only have 25 slots, then it'll be tough to compete in those high competition niches. You just can't really test a lot, and you don't have ads. So in that case, it's tough. But other than that, I wouldn't shy away from them. You just have to have good designs.
Has to be
not just copy bestsellers. And if you do have ads, test with ads. Just try and rank them.
I have a really simple way of just viewing that, because making all my apps has forced me to simplify it down to the first principles. And how I just see it nowadays is that if you want to be in niches, at least if you want sales all year round consistently, then you want to be in emotional or celebratory milestones that happen every single day that people generally want to buy gifts for. If you're in those niches that fits that criteria, then you're generally good, no matter the competition. Because the second problem to that is to just add value to that. But the niches themselves, in my opinion at least, as long as it's an emotional or celebratory milestone that people generally want to buy gifts for, that happen every single day. If you're in those types of niches, then you're good. Think like retirement, engagements, bachelorette parties, things that happen every single day, like people having babies, for instance, or people getting married, people getting together, and so forth.
For me, it would be statements. I pick my niches based on the stuff that I would want to wear. If it's clothes, I would pick them based on what I want to see on my walls. I would pick them based on what I want to see on my laptop sleeve, what I want to see as a mug when I wake up and drink coffee in the morning. Because if you're genuinely excited about something enough to want to wear it on a t-shirt, I guarantee you're not special. Someone else will be excited about that too. Like, you're not special in the most beautiful way possible.
Thanks, team. And yes, the name is a joke because I'm lazy.
ASAP slow, Sky.
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, love
Funny.
it. Cool name. Definitely double take kind of name. I also think if you're struggling, like if you're saying you're niching down a lot and then there's not enough demand, don't niche down too much. For example, birthday designs, birthday niche, that's a huge one. But you don't want to go down too much. Rather than having a birthday design that's for everyone turning 10, which is very, very broad, maybe just mix it with basketball. That still has a massive audience, but it's just niched down enough to make it easier to sell that design.
Or if
Yeah.
you're doing it for people who are older, make it like extremely cynical.
Yeah, but the simple way, because the thing that you're saying, Philip, is like right on the spot. The thing that I would like is scale it back down to just make it simple is that as long as you're targeting one person, like you can't target any people who has a birthday. You can target one type of person. So maybe it's, for instance, someone who likes dinosaurs and is becoming 1 year old,
Mhm.
and it's a boy, for instance.
Honestly,
That's
I would do
one-
it if it's a girl, because I think that if it's a boy, they will be able to find dinosaur for boys more in the store than dinosaur for girls.
It could be.
That would be my approach to this.
Good
Because if you
point.
think about it, the whole point of Print on Demand is I can't find it in a store. This is not accessible to me as much as other things. That's why I would pay more.
You could take boys. This could be an angle, right? You could take boys' hobbies that girls are also interested in, but cannot find stuff easily.
Yeah.
for.
That's
Pink
one way to
birthday
stand out.
soccer
You're standing out
t-shirt.
now
Yeah.
because nobody else
The
has
girl
it.
who played soccer.
Yeah, just don't niche down too much and make it a design for a 5-year-old born in 2021 who likes both dinosaurs and basketball. Then you're probably not going to get a sale, and you only
Yeah,
have the chance
that's
to get a
very,
sale
very
for
niche.
this year.
No, but I
Yeah.
think like the double niche in general, like not just like for a birth, but like because here you have like birthday versus dinosaur. So I'm pretty sure like the most of the stuff that I'm selling on TeePublic are a combination of coding and cats.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, or coffee and cats, or summer and
But with
Most
all
of,
these,
I have combination of coding and cats and cats and puzzles.
there
but
you
the
go.
cool thing about this is that it's all just referring to one type of person. It's not like you have, for instance, like a like I love cats myself, and like if like I do POD, I do music. So if there was, for instance, like a cat playing guitar, for instance, with some type of reference to, I don't know, coding or something, that could be cool, or just a cat. I think a cat playing guitar is even big on Amazon, right?
I don't have a cat
I've
playing
seen it.
guitar, but if you want to have a lot of cows playing guitar, I have cows
Yeah, but-
playing
yeah.
saxophone.
But the
Yeah.
key thing is just you can only target one person. You can't or one event or one milestone. You can't target any more than that, because if you do, you're not really targeting anyone. So as long as you target one person, one milestone, or one event, I think you can. That solves the problem really.
It also
Yeah,
really
and-
goes well with the tarot niche, like tarot cards that is actually a cat, but is actually a pumpkin, but is actually
Wow.
I sold a bunch of like cow tarot cards, or a
Cool.
tarot card that's like the coffee, the
Yeah.
iced coffee, the pizza, the avocado. Yeah, they sell. I don't know who wants to walk around the street. with a
Collection. You
t-shirt.
got a collection now.
Yeah, but what many? But I don't know who want to walk down the street with a T-shirt that has a tarot card on it that says the avocado toast. But fine, I think like avocado toast is right up there with almost up there as ramen noodles, because I did sell also tarot cards that says
Oh
the
yeah,
ramen
it's huge.
soup. The ramen soup as a tarot card. Yep.